The warning came through every mercenary comm channel in the known galaxy. Avoid Earth contracts at all costs. I should have listened. Captain Vox Grimthorn here, commanding the finest band of Krillian berserkers money could buy. At least, that's what my crew believed. We were the best, or so we thought. Our reputation preceded us across 17 star systems, undefeated in 327 combat missions. So when the Galactic Commerce Consortium offered us triple our usual rate to handle a small Earth problem, we practically salivated at the credits. This will be simple, I assured my second-in-command, Sergeant Krell Bonecrusher. Humans, soft, pink things who barely left their own planet 20 cycles ago. The military advisors claim they rely entirely on technology. I lean back in my command chair, laughing. Without their fancy suits and weapons, they are nothing. How wrong I was. Our intelligence briefing was embarrassing in retrospect. Targets, Human Special Operations Team. No conventional weapons systems detected. Primitive ballistic projectiles only. Estimated threat level, minimal. The analyst had smirked while presenting the data. We all had a good chuckle about these backwards primitives still using gunpowder. The first hint that something was amiss came when we couldn't locate our targets. Advanced thermal imaging revealed nothing. Quantum sensors picked up 0 signatures. It was like tracking shadows. Impossible, Krell growled, his 4 arms twitching nervously. The sensors must be malfunctioning. Then Jenkins radioed in. Jenkins was our forward scout, equipped with enough tech to detect life forms 3 systems away. His voice crackled with panic. Contact confirmed. But sir, something's wrong. They aren't using any shielding tech, yet I can barely track them. Before I could respond, Jenkins screamed. The feed went dead point. 3 hours passed before we found what remained of Jenkins. His body lay splayed beneath a camouflage pit trap, the kind our species hadn't used since we discovered hover technology. A simple, elegant death by gravity and pointed stakes. Our advanced combat scout, killed by sticks and dirt. The humans had left a note, written in perfect Krillian, "Welcome to our neighborhood. Please mind the traps." Psychological warfare, I declared confidently. Typical primitives trying to scare us. But inside, doubt gnawed at my certainty. Our next encounter shattered what remained of my confidence that we cornered 2 human operators in an abandoned facility. Perfect kill zone, no escape routes, and they had no armor. My squad of 12 surrounded them. Victory seemed assured until they smiled. "Hey, fellas," the shorter one drawled, casually adjusting his weapon. "Fancy meeting you here." Krell fired first, a mistake. The plasma bolt missed by centimeters as the human moved with impossible speed. What followed defied comprehension. They fought without technology support. No enhanced reflexes. No power d'arme. Yet they moved through our squad like we were standing still. The taller human grabbed Durnax blade mid-swing and used the momentum to flip our strongest warrior into Screet. Meanwhile, his partner had somehow acquired 3 plasma rifles and was systematically dismantling our formation. "Fall back," I screamed into the comm, "tactical retreat." That's when I learned the true meaning of fear. They pursued us, not in a wild chase, but with methodical precision. They had separated us, mapped our escape routes, and predicted our movements. Every corner I turned led to another close call, another brush with death that missed by mere centimeters. They were hurting us, playing with us. When we finally regrouped, only 5 of my 12 warriors remained. Our casualties weren't from superior firepower, but from exhaustion, panic, and the sheer psychological terror of being hunted by prey that fought like predators. Status report, I demanded, trying to maintain authority over my demoralized crew. Gronk is down with 3 cracked ribs and possible internal hemorrhaging, Krell reported grimly. Skrix has a concussion for being thrown into a wall. The rest are treating minor cuts, bruises, and severe trauma to their confidence. I accessed the combat footage from my squad's helmet cams. The sight made my blood run cold. These humans moved like shadows, striking from impossible angles. One had literally run along a wall before drop-kicking Threx into unconsciousness. Another had deflected a plasma shot with nothing but a piece of scrap metal. "Perhaps we should abort the mission," I suggested, my pride crumbling. "Call it tactical withdrawal." Krell nodded eagerly. My warriors, normally eager for battle, looked relieved. Then the comm system activated on its own. The shorter human's voice filled our ship. Leaving so soon? We haven't even started the real fun yet. Static for 3 seconds. Did you know your fleet transponder codes are encrypted with outdated Krillian military protocols? Took us about 15 minutes to crack. Nice ships, by the way. Shame if something happened to them. Our navigation displays suddenly went haywire. Every ship in our fleet reported system failures. The terrifying realization hit us. They had somehow infiltrated our secure network without any visible cyber warfare equipment. You have 2 options. The human continued cheerfully. Option 1. Leave immediately and never return. We will even pretend this embarrassing encounter never happened. Your reputation might survive. Option 2. Stick around and see what else we have prepared. Spoiler alert, you won't enjoy it. I swallow my pride, what little remained of it. We choose option 1. Excellent choice. Just one tiny condition. Tell every mercenary group you meet about this little chat. Spread the word. Earth is off limits. Understand? Through gritted teeth, I agreed. As our ships hastily departed the system, I couldn't help but review everything I thought I knew about humans. They had no energy shields, yet deflected plasma. No powered armor, yet moved faster than our enhanced warriors. No advanced AI, yet hacked our systems in minutes. How? The answer came from our medical bay. Our combat analyst, treating his injuries, muttered something that changed everything. Did you notice their heart rates? Never spiked. They were calm the entire time. They weren't even trying. Later, I dug deeper into human physiology. What our intelligence service had dismissed as primitive was anything but. Humans possessed something called adrenaline, a natural combat drug their bodies produced. They could ignore pain, temporarily exceed their physical limits, and maintain focus under extreme stress. Things we needed technology to achieve, they did naturally. Their training was equally disturbing. While we spent credits on augs and implants, they spent years perfecting movements until they became automatic. Muscle memory, they called it. Every human special operator practiced thousands of repetitions until their bodies moved without conscious thought. That's why our sensors couldn't predict their movements. Even they didn't know exactly what they do until they did it. But the real horror lay in their psychology. They didn't fight for credits or conquest. They fought for each other. When one fell, the others became twice as dangerous. Where we saw warfare as a profession, they saw it as protection of family. This made them unpredictable, uncompromising, and ultimately undefeatable by species like us who calculated risk versus reward. The incident report I filed was classified immediately. The Commerce Consortium paid us anyway, blood money for keeping quiet. But word still spread. In cantinas across the galaxy, battle-hardened mercenaries shared stories of human special forces. Each tale grew more incredible than the last, yet none captured the full truth of what we experienced. Today, I run a legitimate security company, far from any human space. My crew still wakes up from nightmares about that mission. We have politely declined offers with 20 times our usual rates to operate anywhere near Earth territories. Sometimes, young warriors ask me about the scar on my left arm. I tell them it's from the day I learned not all predators come with claws and fangs. Some come with quiet steps, clever minds, and the ability to turn your own fear against you. The humans sent us packing with a warning, not a massacre. Looking back, that might have been the most terrifying thing of all. They had enough skill to kill us all, but enough mercy to let us leave. It suggested they understood violence at a level we couldn't comprehend, knowing exactly when to apply it and when to show restraint points. 6 rotations later, I received an anonymous package at my new office. Inside was a simple wooden plaque with text in multiple languages, including Krillian. Those who live by the sword get shot by those who don't. Below it, handwritten in messy script, thanks for spreading the word. Your compliance saved lives. Humans can be reasonable when given the chance. The guys who didn't kill you. I keep that plaque on my office wall as a reminder. Intelligence is more dangerous than strength, and underestimation is the greatest tactical error a warrior can make. The galaxy's finest fighting force doesn't need fancy technology or overwhelming firepower. They have something far more dangerous: the ability to adapt, improvise, and overcome anything you throw at them. That's why alien mercenaries refuse contracts against human special forces. Not because humans have better weapons or defenses, but because they fight with their minds, bodies, and hearts as one weapon. And against such an enemy, all our technology amounts to nothing but expensive, futile gestures. The human special operators we faced were reportedly just a small training unit on leave. If that's what they do on vacation, I shudder to think about their actual military capabilities. Some mysteries are better left unexplored, some enemies better left unprovoked. The Galactic Commerce Consortium eventually learned this lesson when they tried sending Xel'Naga Death Commandos after the humans. Those poor bastards returned shell-shocked and converted to pacifism. The Commission was forced to officially declare human territory as Zone Gamma, off-limits to all military operations. Now they pay humans as consultants for security operations instead of trying to fight them. This is why, when some hotshot merc team boasts about taking Earth contracts, the rest of us just smile and wish them luck. Experience has taught us that survival sometimes means acknowledging superior opponents. Pride recovers faster than a shattered army. The strange thing is, many of those who survived encounters with human special forces actually developed a grudging respect for them. Some even send Christmas cards, a bizarre human tradition we didn't understand until they explained it's about peace and goodwill. Turns out humans celebrate their enemy's survival if those enemies prove honorable. I still keep that Christmas card on my desk. Merry Christmas from the guys who could have killed you. Hope the new business ventures are going well. Stay safe out there. SEAL Team 6-inch the galaxy is vast, filled with countless warrior species and fighting traditions. But now, every mercenary guild knows the most dangerous force doesn't wear powered armor or wield energy weapons. They wear simple fatigues, carry primitive firearms, and fight with a combination of skill, determination, and just enough insanity to make them utterly terrifying. That's why alien mercenaries refuse contracts against human special forces. Because we have learned the hardest lesson of warfare. Sometimes the most primitive tactics, executed with supreme skill and unwavering will, are far more deadly than any advanced technology. Humans didn't just defeat us in combat. They defeated our entire conceptual framework of how war should work. And that, fellow warriors, is why I sleep better knowing humans remain friends rather than enemies. Because deep down, we all know the truth. If humans ever decide to leave their home system for conquest rather than exploration, the galaxy's power balance will shift overnight. Best to keep them smiling and supplied with their strange coffee beverages. Trust me, on this 1.3 years after my disastrous encounter with human special forces, I received an unexpected visitor. Ambassador Talus Windweave of the Heliodan Empire materialized in my office lobby, her crystalline form chiming softly as she moved. Captain Grimthorne, she began without preamble, I need your expertise. I laughed bitterly. If this involves humans, you have come to the wrong mercenary. I'll learn my lesson. It involves studying them, she clarified, not fighting. The Empire seeks to understand why these relatively primitive beings dominate combat scenarios where technology should prevail. The credits she offered were astronomical. Against my better judgment, I accepted. 3 months later, I found myself on Research Station Nexus 7, collaborating with the galaxy's finest military analysts. Our subject of study, a captured human soldier named Lieutenant James Morrison, Delta Force operator. The human has agreed to demonstrate their training methods, Talus explained, in exchange for certain diplomatic concessions. Initially, I expected some kind of performance, perhaps showing off their combat moves like a parade. What I witnessed shattered my understanding of warfare entirely. Morrison began with what humans call meditation. For 20 minutes, he sat motionless, breathing rhythmically. Our neural scanners showed his brain activity entering states previously thought impossible without technological assistance. Complete focus while maintaining awareness of his surroundings. Control your mind first, he explained afterward. Everything else follows. The physical training defied our expectations of primitive exercise. He demonstrated something called burpees, a full-body movement that incorporated multiple muscle groups. Within 5 minutes, my entire security team, composed of species selected for physical superiority, collapsed from exhaustion trying to keep up. Morrison continued for another hour, his vitals barely elevated. Efficiency, he said casually. I have done this exact routine 10,000 times. My body knows what to do without my brain's conscious involvement. But the real revelation came during combat simulations that we created holographic scenarios using our best tactical AI. The first test, Morrison, armed only with a training knife, against 3 Korthak warriors, massive reptilian beings bred for war over countless generations. "Ready when you are," Morrison said, bouncing lightly on his feet. The simulation began. Within 15 seconds, all 3 Korthaks lay disabled. "Analyze that," I demanded the research team. The results were fascinating. Morrison hadn't relied on strength or speed superior to his opponents. Instead, he used angle manipulation, timing, and leverage. He exploited the Korthaks' own momentum against them, redirecting their powerful attacks into empty space while maintaining constant forward pressure. "Beautiful," whispered Dr. Nexcalibur, our xenobiological expert. "He fights like water flowing around obstacles." "That's jiu-jitsu," Morrison cheerfully volunteered. "Japanese martial art. Means gentle way. But see, being gentle doesn't mean being harmless. It means using minimal effort for maximum effect." Over the following weeks, Morrison demonstrated technique after technique. Krav Maga for pure combat efficiency. Systema for flowing adaptability. Boxing for straightforward devastation. Each art had distinct logic, yet together they formed a greater whole. "We spent decades enhancing ourselves artificially," noted General Vrak Ironhide of the Vortani hegemony, observing via hologram. "Yet this human achieves similar results through training alone." The psychological assessments proved equally illuminating. Morrison volunteered for stress tests that would break most species. Sensory deprivation, pain resistance, extended isolation. He endured them with an almost supernatural calm. "Humans evolved in hellish conditions," explained Ambassador Windweave, reviewing our findings. "Their homeworld had constant threats, predators, weather extremes, disease, and most dangerously, each other. Survival required adaptability and mental resilience beyond what most species needed." But the real shock came when Morrison asked a simple question. "Want to learn?" Ambassador Windweave's luminous form flickered, her equivalent of surprise. "Learn human combat techniques?" "Sure," Morrison shrugged. "I got time to kill." The next 3 months transformed our research station into an impromptu dojo. Morrison taught basic human fighting principles to representatives from 12 different species. I hesitantly joined, partly out of professional curiosity, partly from lingering trauma needing catharsis. First lesson, Morrison began our training. "Everyone can learn this. The human body isn't special. Our techniques are special. We developed them through necessity, refined them through centuries of conflict, and preserved them through disciplined practice." He focused first on mindset training. Fear is natural. Panic is choice. Control the choice. Manage the fear. We learned breathing techniques that reduce combat stress, visualization exercises that improve reaction times, the famous warrior's rest, method humans use to sleep between missions, teaching the body to achieve deep rest on command. Physical techniques came next. Morrison adapted each method to our different physiologies. For my forearm species, he taught simultaneous blocking and striking patterns. For the Sethary's low-gravity physiology, he emphasized momentum-based throws. Every species received tailored instruction that played to their strengths while minimizing weaknesses. Violence isn't about anger, Morrison taught us. It's about efficiency. The goal is to end conflict with minimal damage to yourself, your team, and if possible, even your enemy. 3 months into training, an opportunity for a practical application arose. Space pirates attacked a nearby mining colony, choosing their target poorly. Among the miners were former human special operations veterans working security. "Want to observe real-time application?" Morrison asked. The battle footage arrived within hours. 2 former Navy SEALs, armed with mining tools and improvised weapons, neutralized 13 heavily armed pirates without lethal force. The pirates surrendered after realizing they faced opponents who seemed to predict every move. "Everything you have learned," Morrison commented as we watched, but applied with real stakes. "Notice how they communicate without speaking? That's unit cohesion built over years of training. The review of this engagement led to my second major revelation. The captured pirates, upon recovery, reported experiencing phenomenon they called vertigo of fear. They described human opponents as seeming to expand during combat, filling space exponentially larger than their physical bodies. Its presence, Morrison explained, confidence, competence, and commitment combined. Your mind recognizes superior predators even when logic says you are stronger. We discovered this psychological effect wasn't supernatural. Humans had quantified and weaponized their fighting presence through body language, breathing patterns, and what they called command voice, a specific vocal technique that triggered instinctive respect responses in most species. As our training progressed, Ambassador Windweave proposed an ambitious project, creating an elite unit that combined human techniques with alien capabilities. The Heliodan Defense Corps received approval to begin this hybrid program that I volunteered immediately. After years running from my fear of human warriors, I finally understood. Their power came not from some genetic superiority, but from methodical dedication to craft. We could learn this. We could integrate it into our own fighting styles. 6 months later, our hybrid unit, comprised of volunteers from the research program, conducted joint training exercises with actual human special forces. The humans seemed amused at first, then impressed, then genuinely engaged. "Well done," praised a Navy SEAL commander after watching us execute a building clearing drill. "You are thinking like operators now, prioritizing teamwork over individual heroics." This praise meant more than I expected. Earning respect from those who had haunted my nightmares felt like exorcising demons. The consequences of our research spread rapidly. Corporate entities began hiring human military advisors to train their security forces. Several galactic powers established exchange programs with Earth's military academies. Even former enemies like the Korthak Dominion signed treaties specifically to access human training methodologies. But the real change was cultural. The galaxy's warrior classes stopped viewing humans as dangerous anomalies to avoid, instead recognizing them as masters of their craft worthy of study. Fear transformed into respect. Avoidance became engagement. During one training session, General Ironhide shared a profound observation. "We have spent millennia pursuing technological advantages while neglecting the warrior's mind, body, and spirit. Humans remind us that the deadliest weapons are forged through discipline, not manufacturing." Lieutenant Morrison's deployment ended after 18 months. On his last day, he gathered all his students for a final lesson. "Remember what you have learned," he said. "But more importantly, remember why you learned it. The goal isn't to create perfect killers, to create warriors so skilled that killing becomes unnecessary. When potential enemies know you are capable of total destruction but choose restraint, that's true strength." He handed me a small wooden box. Inside lay a combat knife and a note. "To Captain Grimthorne, for facing your fear and turning it into wisdom. The mark of a true warrior. Semper Fidelis." When asked about his time training alien warriors, Morrison's final report contained one line that circulated throughout the galaxy. "Courage isn't the absence of fear, but the commitment to mission despite it." Every species has this capacity. We just help them find it. After Morrison's departure, our hybrid program expanded dramatically. The Universal Combat Academy was established, blending human methods with alien capabilities under joint administration. Within 2 years, graduation rates from the academy reached 93%, with graduates describing not just physical transformation, but psychological awakening. I took command of the first fully operational hybrid force unit, composed of warriors from 18 different species trained in human methodology. Our first real mission came when separatist groups on Nexus 4 took hostages in a university complex. Using human stack and clear tactics modified for our diverse team composition, we breached the building. The precision of our movements, the efficiency of our communication, the absolute confidence in our approach. It all flowed from those lessons learned in brutal defeat years ago. The hostages were freed within 12 minutes. 0 casualties. The separatists, expecting traditional military response, were overwhelmed by our coordinated assault. Their leader later described our team as ghosts with purpose. Reports of our success reached the Galactic Security Council. Suddenly, human methodology wasn't just respected, it became the new standard. Military academies across the galaxy restructured their training to incorporate human principles. The species that once dismissed humans as primitive now studied their philosophies with scholarly devotion. Years later, I stood before the Academy's graduating class, delivering a speech about my first encounter with human special forces. The cadets listened with rapt attention to the tale of humiliation that sparked a revolution in galactic military doctrine. I know what you're thinking, I told them. How could one species, so late to spatial travel, revolutionize warfare across the stars? The answer lies not in their technology or their biology, but in their integration of mind, body, and spirit. They don't compartmentalize warfare. They embody it through disciplined practice and philosophical understanding. After the ceremony, I visited the Memorial Garden, a place dedicated to soldiers from all species who died teaching others. Among the names, I found those two human operators from my first encounter, both killed in action 6 months after our meeting. Not in battle, but as instructors, shield human cadets from an IED blast during training exercises on Earth. The memorial read, "They died as they lived, protecting others so that future generations might live free." Standing there, I realized the full impact of what had transpired. The humans hadn't just changed how we fight, they'd changed why we fight. Their emphasis on protective combat rather than conquest, on preserving life while maintaining deadly capability, had reshaped the moral landscape of galactic warfare. The species who once feared human special forces now sought to honor their legacy through emulation, not elimination. The galaxy's most feared warriors became its most trusted teachers, and their methods spread like seeds carried by wind, taking root in cultures light years from Earth. Today, when ambitious mercenaries ask me about taking contracts against human special forces, I don't warn them away. I offer them enrollment in the Academy instead. Because understanding beats fear, respect trumps avoidance, and the best way to honor a warrior culture is to learn from it. The greatest victory those humans won wasn't on any battlefield. It was in changing hearts and minds across the galaxy. They proved that true strength lies in transformation, turning enemies into students, fear into respect, and isolation into integration. And this, warriors, is why alien mercenaries don't fight human special forces anymore. We train with them instead.